Welcome to the Allied Air podcast, NATO's sole broadcast that patrols the full spectrum of air, space, and cyberspace. Wherever you serve, consider this your ground truth for alliance activity above the clouds, beyond the atmosphere, and across the digital domain.
Headline: 15 years of multinational air mobility for the European Air Transport Command. On the 1st of September, 2025, the European Air Transport Command, known as EATC, marked its 15th anniversary, celebrating a decade and a half of unity, excellence, and multinational cooperation in military air mobility. The European Air Transport Command is a single multinational command headquartered at Eindhoven Air Base in the Netherlands. The EATC fleet is composed of over 180 aircraft, stationed across the national air bases of its 7 member nations: Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Spain. During a ceremony at Eindhoven Air Base, senior military authorities from all 7 member countries, alongside representatives from NATO, European institutions, and key defense industry stakeholders, gathered to pay tribute to the EATC's achievements since its creation in 2010. These achievements include life-saving aeromedical evacuations, strategic transport, air-to-air refuelling, and rapid crisis response missions around the globe. Major General Frank Mullard, commander of the European Air Transport Command, emphasized the foundation of EATC's success. EATC's strength lies in its people and in the unique trust that binds our 7 member nations together, he said during his address. Through innovation, harmonized procedures, and shared responsibility, we deliver concrete operational effects for Europe and NATO. The ceremony also unveiled EATC's new leitmotif, "Together we go beyond," reflecting the organization's dedication to strengthening interoperability and preparing collectively for future challenges. A highlight of the event was a flyby featuring a Belgian A400M, piloted by a Luxembourg pilot and a British co-pilot, flying in formation with a Dutch F-35, a powerful symbol of multinational integration. In July 2025, EATC controlled its first boom-style air-to-air refueling mission. During the mission, a French MRTT refueled 8 Belgian F-16s, a significant milestone in coordinated air mobility. The A330 continues to enhance both national and NATO capabilities for force projection, serving as a key enabler for Allied integration and operational interoperability. EATC plays a vital role in advancing NATO's Agile Combat Employment concept, often referred to as ACE, by harmonizing maintenance procedures. This enables multinational teams to operate each other's aircraft and efficiently exchange parts. The command is also evaluating its operational role in potential Article 5 scenarios, ensuring it remains a decisive and ready force for joint European and NATO missions. As a unique organization focused on military air mobility, including transport, air-to-air refueling, and aeromedical evacuation, the EATC's core objective remains to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of its member nations' air transport efforts. This 15-year milestone underscores EATC's enduring value. Smart collaboration strengthens Europe, deters adversaries, and prepares nations for the challenges of tomorrow. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from European Air Transport Command. Published September 9, 2025.
Headline: NATO AWACS and Turkish Air Force enhance interoperability during Nexus ACE training. From August 26 to 28, and again from September 2 to 5, 2025, NATO's Airborne Warning and Control System, known as AWACS, executed a tactical training event at Konya Air Base in Turkey. The exercise, called Nexus ACE, was conducted in coordination with the Turkish Air Force's E-70 aircraft and F-16 fighter jets. This training, part of the Tailored Assurance Measures for Turkey, abbreviated as TAMT, reinforced Allied cohesion and operational readiness across the region. Nexus ACE provided a unique opportunity for integration, bringing together NATO's AWACS aircraft with Turkish Air Force units in a realistic and challenging operational setting. The focus of the exercise was on enhancing interoperability, improving command and control structures, and strengthening operational coordination within NATO-controlled airspace. Forward deployment of NATO AWACS to Konya Air Base in Turkey is a visible demonstration of NATO's commitment to collective defense and regional assurance. These TAMT missions play a critical role in maintaining high levels of preparedness and adaptability among allied forces. By participating in exercises like Nexus ACE, NATO ensures that its forces are ready to respond swiftly and effectively to evolving security threats in the region. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from the Turkish Air Force. Published September 11, 2025.
Headline: A decade of NATO in Sigonella. NATO ISR force celebrates 10th anniversary. At the Italian Air Force Base in Sigonella, NATO's intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance force, known as the NATO ISR force, celebrated its 10th anniversary with a ceremony marking a decade of growth, transformation, and commitment to Allied intelligence operations. What began as the NATO Alliance Ground Surveillance Force in September 2015 has evolved into today's permanent, multinational intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance force, delivering critical intelligence for the Alliance every single day. During the ceremony, Brigadier General John B. Creel, commander of the NATO ISR force, spoke about the significance of the milestone. What started as an ambitious program 10 years ago has become a permanent NATO force, he said. NISRF delivers intelligence for the Alliance every single day, thanks to the dedication of our multinational team and the steadfast support of our host nation, Italy. The force was officially activated in October 2015 as the NATO Alliance Ground Surveillance Force. In November 2019, the first NATO RQ-4D Phoenix aircraft arrived in Sigonella. By 2021, the unit had achieved initial operational capability. Then in September 2023, it transitioned into the NATO ISR force, expanding its mission and securing a permanent role in NATO's force structure. Demonstrating its growing flexibility, NATO ISR force carried out sustained operations from a forward operating location in Finland earlier in 2025. This marked the first time a NATO Phoenix aircraft operated for several weeks outside of Sigonella. The ceremony also featured personal reflections from members who have served with the force since its early days. Floriana B., Deputy Legal Advisor and NATO International Civilian, shared her memories. When I first joined the force in 2016, we were probably less than 100 people, a small team with big dreams. We started with literally nothing. Everything you see today was nothing more than a vision. Today, NATO ISR force unites analysts, operators, maintainers, and flight crews from across the alliance. Operating from Sicily, they provide NATO commanders with timely intelligence that enhances situational awareness and supports strategic decision-making. The 10th anniversary event was a moment of reflection and also of looking to the future. Brigadier General Creel concluded, 10 years in Sigonella are only the beginning. NATO ISR force will continue to adapt, innovate, and deliver for NATO, today and tomorrow. Story by NATO Intelligence, Surveillance and Reconnaissance Force. Published September 12, 2025.
Headline: NATO Air Policing, guarding the skies when it matters most. When Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace last week, NATO's air defense systems reacted immediately and decisively. Fighter jets scrambled, airspace was secured, and citizens across the eastern flank were reassured that NATO skies remain defended. This is NATO Air Policing in action, the alliance's daily promise to safeguard every inch and centimeter of NATO territory. General Alexis G. Grinkowicz, NATO's Supreme Allied Commander Europe, said on September 12 during a joint press conference with NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte. The violation of Poland's airspace earlier in the week was not an isolated incident and impacts more than just Poland. While a full assessment of the incident is ongoing, NATO is not waiting, we are acting. On September 9, 2025, Spanish Eurofighters were scrambled from Lithuania to intercept a Russian Il-76 carrier, which was flying without a flight plan. At the same time, newly positioned French Rafale jets conducted their first Alpha scramble in support of NATO's Operation Eastern Sentry over the weekend. In Poland, Dutch F-35s contribute under NATO Security Assistance and Training for Ukraine, abbreviated NSATU, which coordinates support to Ukraine while reinforcing Allied security. These forces are now bolstered by additional deployments under Eastern Sentry. For over 6 decades, NATO Air Policing has provided security in the skies during peacetime. It is a continuous mission to preserve the integrity of NATO airspace. Allied aircraft on air policing duties ensure that unidentified aircraft and potential threats are detected, tracked, and if necessary, intercepted. Today, as Russia's war against Ukraine spills instability across borders and drones intrude into NATO skies, this mission is more vital than ever. NATO Air Policing and Enhanced Air Policing detachments are positioned across the eastern flank. In Šiauliai, Lithuania, Hungary supports Baltic air policing with Gripens alongside Spanish Eurofighters. In Omori, Estonia, Italian F-35s conduct the mission. In Romania, German Eurofighters are deployed under Enhanced Air Policing at MK Air Base. NATO also augments national capabilities to ensure that every inch of NATO airspace is protected. NATO's basing agility enables flexible force posturing. Dutch F-35s in Poland under NSA-2 are now reinforced by French Rafales operating under Operation Eastern Sentry, a direct response to recent Russian violations of NATO airspace. General Grinkowicz added on September 12. Eastern Sentry and this new approach will deliver even more focused and flexible deterrence and defense where and when needed to protect our people and deter against further reckless and dangerous acts like what occurred earlier in the week. The need for vigilance was further reinforced last week. In addition to scrambles executed by NATO's air policing detachments, Swedish and Danish fighters took off under national authority to identify Russian aircraft, including 2 Su-30s and an Il-20 reconnaissance plane flying over the southern Baltic Sea. These national forces coordinate seamlessly with NATO, demonstrating robust readiness and cooperation in protecting Allied airspace. NATO air policing is about more than rapid response. It is about assurance, knowing that Allied radar stations, surveillance aircraft, and command centers are monitoring the skies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Whether the threat is drones, fighters, or reconnaissance aircraft, NATO aircrews from across the 32-member alliance stand ready to respond together. The alliance will defend its people, its airspace, and its territory against any threat. As NATO adapts to evolving challenges, the message is clear: from the Baltics to the Black Sea, the alliance is present, prepared, and united. NATO air policing embodies this commitment, protecting NATO skies every hour of every day. Activities and events, not just from this recent week, but spanning more than 60 years, demonstrate NATO Allied Air Command's ability to respond anytime, anywhere. Complementing Allied air policing, NATO's ballistic missile defense, known as BMD, is also a continuous mission to defend NATO territory. Together, they form NATO's Integrated Air and Missile Defense Construct, abbreviated IAMD, a comprehensive, multi-domain, 360-degree defense framework designed to counter the full spectrum of threats. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte emphasized this point on September 10 following the violation of Polish airspace. "I think what we have seen last night was a very successful reaction by NATO and allies, including of course Poland itself, but also the Dutch and the Italians and the Germans, everybody involved. And I'm really impressed. So of course, we always have to make sure that we are one step ahead. But I think last night showed that we are able to defend every inch of NATO territory, including, of course, its airspace." Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from Supreme Headquarters Allied Powers Europe and various NATO allies. Published September 15, 2025.
That wraps up this flight of the Allied airpower podcast, where news-driven updates meet the authentic voices behind the mission to defend every inch of NATO territory. Until our next sortie, stand ready in the air, secure in cyberspace, and steadfast on our path to the stars.